Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk, episode 25. My name's William Kale. I'm co-founder of Coinergy.com. We've got a great show in store for you tonight. Unfortunately, Rob Borden, my partner in crime at Coinergy, is on hiatus, on vacation this week, so he will not be joining us. We also just lost Alex Stirk, so he's having internet issues. Hopefully, he'll be on shortly. Um, he's apparently the cafe Wi-Fi is not coming through, or that was his old place. I guess his new place. Now he's on. There he is. He's back now. Great. And as usual, the man who needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Brian Beamish, the Rational Investors, with us.
Hey everybody, good evening.
How's
From
it going,
beautiful
Brian?
Jamestown, Wet Coast, Alex's old home.
Yeah.
So what's new, Brian?
Oh, I think we got Alex here. Hi,
We have
Alex.
Alex. Okay, I'll give Alex a proper intro. We have Alex Stirk, who apparently when he talks, there's just a giant glowing eye icon.
Oh, yes, the all-seeing eye.
The all-seeing eye. Alex is host of Block Talk, so definitely check that out on YouTube. So how was everything with the move, Alex? Any crazy issues on your road?
No, I managed to make it across the border just fine. So back home now, settling into a new job and new digs. The house I'm moving into, it's got a bit of a sinking hole in the center of it, so I'm gonna have to find some way to stop the center of the house from collapsing. But and then I'll get some decent internet coming through soon too. But for the most part, yeah, it's good to be home. Good to see family and friends, and be in a small town again where you kind of wave at the people driving by.
Right on, right on. Nice. Cool. How you doing, Brian? Did Brian go AWOL on us?
No, I'm right here. Alex went off camera, so I thought maybe I should too. I was in sympathy, but here I am. I'm back. Hi.
So what's new over at TRI, man? How are things going for you guys? You have a new session that just started, right?
No, our next term starts in May.
Oh, okay.
And is basically sold out. I'm just shocked. Here we are. I mean, it's like a month and a half away, and basically all the seats are gone.
Awesome.
So, if anybody does really, really, really want to get in, maybe talk to me, and I'll put you on a list. And if any of these other people bail, then we can kind of sneak you in. But I can't believe, it sounds to me like people like this show, and they like the information that they're getting in it, and basically you guys are speaking with your dollars, and our site is just exploding. We got new people popping in every day, and it's beautiful to watch them. They're just going, man, this is the best decision ever to come in here, because
awesome.
our obsession with PMA and all that kind of stuff, it really makes a big difference in their lives. So, the good Lord has blessed me. Thank you, JoJo, sitting right beside the good Lord. Two of them they're pulling off a miracle here, and I'm just really, really privileged to be in front of you guys. For you guys to actually see that there's value in what I have to show from you, and like I said, to actually see people put this stuff into action. Like the other day, I thought it was so funny, and I'm sorry, I'll shut up after this. Jumpbox took off, eh? And it was so cool. As it was running up, all these tweets came out of nowhere. Oh, sold out by the double. Thank you, TRI. Oh, I got all the double free coins. It was so cool to watch. Everybody's just ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I think hashtag banging out doubles was trending on Twitter for a little while there.
Oh, that would be so cool, wouldn't it? Oh, that's right.
Cool. That's great, man. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, so really, really blessed. Really blessed. Everything seems to be going well, knock on wood. Let's just keep on keeping on, eh?
Oh, yeah, that's all we can do. Keep on trucking. Yeah, so,
Brian,
Go ahead, Alex.
Brian, we've been getting a lot of, I'm not sure if they're old students of yours or just fans, but definitely some very smart traders that are coming into the Jumpbox Slack to have a chat and learn more about the fundamental side. And well, we're happy to have them, and like it's crazy the amount of diligence we're seeing now. There's not a whole lot of FOMO going on, but it's really good. Like healthy buys. People are finding those bottoms, and yeah, it's a great like sharing community. And I've been hearing lots of good things about the chat rooms on your site as well. So it
Yeah,
sounds like a good knowledge base going on there.
yeah.
To add to that too, I mean, it's interesting to see, the way people's minds have changed a little bit from a year ago, even, or especially 2 years ago. A lot of the so-called riffraff have kind of faded out a little bit, and people are actually starting to take altcoins and crypto a little bit more seriously, and actually, being a little bit more serious in terms of their charting and that kind of stuff, which is great to see. So,
Hey, man.
yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, and what's
I've
the
done my
address?
job. I've done my job. That was my job. Obviously, God brought me into your guys' life for a reason, so I've done my job.
And likewise, we love what you do here, Brian. So,
Cool.
what's
Good
the
service.
address for that Slack there, Alex? How do you get in that chat room?
It'd be slack.getjumbucks.com. So GETJUCK. Oh, geez, I think I'm spelling that wrong now.
Alex needs to get some sleep. I think it's just just type in slack.getjumbucks.com. Spell it however you want. It'll probably be correct.
Yeah,
Maybe,
correct. We'll get it.
maybe
Alex needs some caffeine or something tonight, right?
maybe Alex, after the show, you could throw the link on the video link or something for people, eh?
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments below, and yeah, people can come by. We're always happy to have new members, and yeah, we're shooting out tips to everyone who kind of comes in. It's always great. You guys have a little bit of Jumbucks, I'm sure, in your tip bot accounts.
Yep,
So,
I do.
I don't know.
We might have to.
You're gonna have to tell me how to check that. I don't know how to do that. Send me a message or whatever on Twitter later, okay?
All right, sounds good. Yeah, no, and yeah, we'd be happy to have everyone come in because it's not just trading focus. Like we talk a lot about the technology that's going on and like what's new and exciting. Kind of getting a better grasp of what all the news means because like right now there's the Microsoft Azure being added to all these cryptos and in my opinion, it might be a little bit overplayed because it just seems to be that they're offering now node hosting as a service. So all these coins that are setting it up to be like one-click ready, they're all pumping like crazy. But it's not much more than a day's work. And I'm sorry, Julian, if I'm playing this down on you getting jump. He got jump ups added onto it now, so hopefully
that's cool.
So
we can see nodes.
this is a service that Microsoft is providing to altcoins to do what?
So Microsoft Azure is basically, or at least I pronounce it Azure. I don't know if that's the right way or not. It started off as kind of cloud hosting. So you can spin up virtual servers, that kind of thing, basically to host websites or really host anything. And they've been kind of branching out into the blockchain a little bit. So yeah, that's interesting to hear. I took a look at, I know they added Ethereum initially, right? Did they add Ethereum? That was the first big thing.
Yeah, that was the first one. And it's funny, you can see that the coins that put little effort into actually getting on the platform, they haven't even changed the comments. They still say you can deploy an Ethereum node by adding this line.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they haven't even changed the comments yet, but it's something that I think a lot of coins are going to be doing. Like they're calling this like the Anon boom of 2014. This is like the Microsoft boom of 2016.
Cool.
For those who were around in 2014, after Darkcoin went crazy to like $10, all these other currencies started going crazy on adding anon features like anonymous transactions or just like stealth addresses. Lots of little features, and like they were all pumping because of that. So this year it seems to be Microsoft is kind of the thing that's hot.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's just cool to see too that just watching the technology, I guess, being what's the word, justified or courted really by larger corporations. Obviously, Microsoft is one of the largest, so yeah,
So,
that's cool. That adds validation to this whole experiment that we're all parts of. So, really glad to see that. We'll see kind of where it goes. I'm sure this is just kind of the first test run. Probably get as many alts up as they can, and they're going to figure out what they can do to provide it as a service and all that fun stuff. So
they have like a bunch of servers that provide this web hosting service, and the coins are going to be mined on their servers.
well, not really. So they had, I don't know if you've ever heard of like Amazon Web Services or Google Compute Engine. There's all these cloud hosting services, and now they're adding kind of secondary services, and they really have been for a couple of years. So I don't know, just as an example, I mean, Amazon's version of Azure has database hosting. They have really specific cloud storage, kind of secondary things basically.
So
So
could
now,
you use the Amazon services in the past? Like, what makes Microsoft any different than Amazon?
I mean, it's really, they're all in competition in kind of the same market, which is basically cloud hosting. But they're trying to add as many cloud quote unquote services as possible. And the next, hopefully big wave is really this blockchain as a service. So they're really giving you a way to kind of deploy any blockchain on one of their servers at any moment just with a few clicks. So that's kind of the cool thing about it. I mean, it's just an easier way to essentially run a
As
node.
opposed to it being on your own personal
Yeah,
server?
as opposed to running it, on your home PC or on your own server, which is located somewhere else. You can now quickly fire up an Ethereum node basically on one of Azure's servers just by clicking.
Ah, okay. Right.
So we'll see where this goes. Obviously, this is just kind of the first steps.
And so for Microsoft, this is a big win if they can get a whole bunch of people to list coins because they collect service fees for those web hosting services.
Right, yeah. Not necessarily list coins, but to basically run a node on those coins. The idea is, being able to quickly, for Ethereum's really the perfect example. Being able to quickly, fire off an Ethereum node, and then you now have a server that's running Ethereum. You don't have to mess around with any of the setup, and now you can, program whatever your digital autonomous, software is, or tap into Ethereum's API or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
And obviously, yeah, they benefit because you now have to pay for that server.
And everything lives out there on the cloud. You don't have to worry.
Right. Which is a misnomer. I mean, everything lives in a data center somewhere, but it's not actually in the cloud yet.
Okay.
Until we start launching Zeppelins around the globe or something.
Well, I mean, I remember because I used to live in California. They used to. Doesn't Google have this big like cube that's just out there in the middle of the desert? That's a data center?
I don't know, but if they do, I mean, Coinigy's hosted in Google's data center, so I think we do have something out in Cali, one of our servers. Maybe we're in the cube.
Yeah.
I'll start telling people we're in the cube instead of we're in the cloud. I'll have to verify that first, but.
Anyway, and I'm sure there are a few people that are watching this that are old fuddy-duddies like me and kind of need your guys' help to walk through this and understand this stuff. So just bear with us, old-timers.
Oh, no problem. Hey, get me started on servers and programming, and this will be a 6-hour show, so. But yeah, so I guess we can jump into just have a couple Coinigy updates. If anybody's new that's watching, I run Coinigy.com, which is basically a multi-exchange trading platform. You can connect all of your exchange accounts to Coinigy. So essentially, what we do is you plug in your API keys from Poloniex, for example. And then you can actually place trades and monitor your balances and your portfolio through Coinigy. We recently, those of you who do know about Coinigy, recently we deployed on-chart order history. So we had this previously, but it wasn't working very well, so we took it down and made some pretty serious improvements, and now it seems to be working pretty much 100% of the time. What that means is basically if you connect your Poloniex account to Coinigy, will automatically pull in any trades that you place, any executed positions also for margin, and it'll place a marker on the chart on the date and at the price at which that was executed, and it'll let you know if it's a buy or a sell, just with a little red or a green arrow. So it's just kind of helpful, when you're looking back at the past, you can kind of gauge what, where you entered and where you exited a position. So that's pretty cool. And also, I just mentioned it, we just deployed Poloniex margin trading. So anybody who's been waiting for that, you can now connect your Poloniex API key to Coinigy, and then you can specify if you want it to be a margin account, and you can trade, you can short and long directly through Coinigy. And we're still kind of working on improving the interface, but we think it's pretty cool as far as a beta, and we're looking forward to seeing where it goes. So definitely check that out. And yeah, I mean, that's about it for us. I guess one other thing too, we're launching basically a new public website actually to give a little bit more information about kind of the services we provide, kind of outline our features, but this also is going to include upgrades to basically our frequently asked questions and that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. That should be live hopefully by early next week. And yeah, that's about it for me.
So where's Rob? Do you got him locked in our basement somewhere?
Oh yeah, I didn't fill you in. Yeah, Rob actually quit Coinigy yesterday. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I just wanted to see. No, he's Rob's in Florida on vacation, so we wanted to give him the night off and let him enjoy his time off down there. So having fun in the sun. So he'll be back. I'm actually going on vacation next time, guys. So I think Rob might need to fill my shoes, depending on how my internet is down there.
You go to Disneyland?
No, I'm going to Punta Cana.
No, he's Rob in Disneyland.
Rob is, I believe, on the east coast of Florida somewhere.
Punta Carta, where's that?
Punta Cana, that is in the Dominican Republic. I'm going down there. A friend of mine's getting married, so it's one of those fancy destination weddings. But anyways, enough about me. Let's get to the Wheel of Death.
All right, so are we ready to jump into this? You ready to go?
Yeah, I think we are.
I mean,
I don't know if Alex has seen the wheel yet.
Yeah, I know that's. So you guys have to. I've got to gloat here a little bit, okay? So you're gonna have to give me 20 seconds here. I mean, this is ridiculous. We just keep banging out these damn doubles over and over and over. Been doing a little bit of buying here and there, but man, some of these trades. Were you guys in on this IOC? IOC was a fantastic trade in that this is now a great example for everyone where you can actually trade these multiple positions over many years. So here you can see this is the light blue or azure, whatever you want to call this line. That was 2015s, and now we've got 2016 overlapping because now we're going and we're buying back some of these coins. So I mean, I mean, you guys want trades? You want trade ideas? We got our site is just going nuts here. As you guys can appreciate, from what you see, we're in a very friendly time of year in the market, eh? Would you not agree?
I would 100% agree.
Right. I think sort of learning lesson number one for the audience is, and actually what's so cool is if we just look at our little performance chart. Actually, no, we got to fix that, don't we, Will? So there's a little reporting problem from back in, but
yeah, but you can still show it. We can explain.
Yeah, I mean, just even over March. You remember in February, I was kind of talking about how I thought February was a ridiculous month where we did 18 trades, 16 sells, 2 buys, and March is no different. Can you guys see how we're almost going parabolic here now? You can feel the seasonality, and people that are watching, especially people that are brand new, because I've had now students over multiple years, and I saw exactly the same thing happen last year, right? We all remember the enthusiasm over water TPs, right? So the point here is that this is very normal what's going on in the market right now, but it won't be here all the time. So enjoy it, guys. Take advantage of it. If you want to make money in crypto, now is the time to be doing it, right? Once the seasonal window closes, then it's the old adage of trying to sail into the wind. Have you guys ever tried to sail a boat into the wind? It's impossible, right? Try to swim against the tide. I mean, how many cliches can we come up with?
Thought it was pissing into the wind.
There you go. That's even worse, right? The point here is the wind is at our backs right now, guys. Take advantage of it. The pumps, they're going to pump even better now. Don't be in a hurry to call tops. Do you guys remember, I don't know whether I remember one of my site members, I think it was on one of these shows, they were kind of thinking, oh, okay, here comes the top in Ethereum, I'm going to get ready to short it. And I'm kind of like, guys, you know what? Don't be in a hurry to call tops in these markets. Because they can always go much further and much longer than anybody expects.
Yeah, Ethereum's the perfect example of that. I mean, I've been personally calling my own tops on it, and getting outsmarted every day. So.
Well, and we also what we lacked last year, for example, is we don't have a major fundamental catalyst staring us in the face in crypto. We've got a pretty big fat catalyst staring us in the face in the middle of July coming up here, right? So,
the happening.
Right. So on balance, again, the wind proverbially is at our backs here. I think we should just enjoy this. The market is friendly. In fact, I put out a tweet, one of my site members, Tim Gravity, I don't know whether you guys are familiar with him.
Oh yeah, we know Tim.
He was
Tim, hey, Brian, I don't know if you knew, but Tim's actually here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know. He's probably closer to you. You can probably reach out and touch you, eh?
Yeah, we got to go meet up with him. We should have a Coinergy meetup out here sometime. That'd be fun.
Well, I want to
have a couple beers.
It's so cool. Like, we have site members all over the world, and I've literally had invitations from Europe, from Asia, South America. I literally am. One day I'm going to take Liam, and we're just going to go on a slow globe trip and visit all our satellites all around the world. So cool. And of course, we have to stop in good old Milwaukee. And then, of course, I got to go up and visit Western, I guess. Aren't you just outside of London, Alex?
Yeah, I'm not too far, actually. I got a date with a Western girl tomorrow night, so it's pretty close.
There you go.
Yeah, getting back into the swing of things in my old stomping ground.
There you are. Oh, isn't that oh man, I used to remember, oh god, that's so long ago.
Are you going to impress her with your crypto knowledge, Alex?
I'm going to do my best not to mention it.
Yeah, you might want to save that for the second or third date, I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, it's never a short conversation, so I just try to avoid it altogether. Oh yeah, I do a YouTube show on financial technology. Oh, that sounds nice. Yep, that's all you need to know.
She just wants to talk cows, right?
Oh yeah, it's all about the dairy. In terms of calling tops, Brian, and this whole selling half on a double, like I implemented that on one of my trades this year when I bought Syscoin, and to be honest, I was totally astounded with how high that went. And then like I know guys who are selling and they're like, oh, should I buy back in? I'm just like, I'm so stress free right now. Like I'm just rocking another free position. No, look, I got another double. Like it's such a, I guess, a lax way of like approaching your trade and your position that I think it works well for like buying the bottoms of these markets. Like you can't apply it in every fashion, but yeah, again, like the halves on a double is a great mentality for these buying bottoms.
Well, if you can appreciate
and not trying to call them.
If you can understand the seasonality of the market, this is basically how the pros make the money in the stock market, right? In the venture cap market. This is basically what they do year in, year out. Peter Browns, you might have heard of him. He was the CEO of Canaccord Capital. He actually has the largest RSP in Canada. That's a funny little piece of trivia. Anyway, and basically he built basically the Vancouver brokerage house Canaccord with basically that very simple seasonal approach. And you know, I think you hit the nail on the head, and this is really often overlooked, and that is the degree of lack of anxiety that's in your life when it comes to actually managing your portfolio, right? I heard you say that a moment ago, and that's very hard to quantify. If you do the little old lady approach, your life is going to be a lot easier and more comfortable to live. People don't actually believe it, but it's true, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like I now that I'm working at a different job, like I don't have the same time to devote to crypto as I did before, so I can't babysit my positions and try and like watch as the pullback happens and then close on that. Like no, it's more just I have to set my orders and I gotta walk away. So at this point, like once you get your free position, yeah, you're coasting easy. You're not worried anymore. You're on a free ride.
Yeah. For people that have lives, it's a pretty good strategy, eh?
Very good, yeah.
You know, there is a time and a place for margin trading and stuff, right? But, you know, like Will, for example, you've got a full-time job on top of Coinigy, don't you?
Nope, not anymore. I am full-time Coinigy.
Oh, good for wait. Is it a congratulations in order there? Or
yeah, it's been for a few months now. Yeah. But Rob is still cranking out his full-time IT job. So hopefully as things continue to progress, we can get Rob on here full-time as well, which would be a major benefit to us. So.
Most of my students have full-time jobs, whether they work at major conglomerates or in the sales industry or in the computer industry itself, programmers. They can't sit in front of a screen 24/7. And you know, the approach that we're actually demonstrating to the audience here is the approach that I used as a broker when I had a book of clients. And they didn't want to sit and watch and babysit positions all day long. And yet, like I showed you, the returns can be astounding once you get into a bull market. Just the question is, you got to find where the money's flowing. And guess what, boys? The money's flowing into crypto right now, I think, in a big way.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it, yeah. I mean, even just, in terms of Coinigy and everything, things have really been picking up for us the last couple months. So that's, you know, our success is kind of a sign of where the markets are at, obviously. So, so yeah, it's a good time right now. Hopefully we can continue to have plentiful, bountiful times in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to pray to Nakamoto.
We wanted to get to the featured event tonight, and so yes. I went on. This has got to be a testament to our audience. I mean, we're starting to get a lot of people putting in a lot of requests. And so there's so many that I couldn't just look at one or just pick one randomly. So I thought what we do is I went on the internet and I found this little site and I plugged all the symbols in. And, you know, we'll just totally, Will, keep an eye on the clock so I don't go too long here. But we'll just keep spinning the wheel until you guys get sick of me talking, all right? So, who's first up? So the little marker, I think, is right here, okay? So keep an eye on who gets to win. I think it tells us. So here we go. Who's up first?
Oh, we even have sound.
HYP. HYP 1 whatever the hell that is. Let's see what we get.
Is HYP, is that hyper, or is hyper a different symbol?
HYP, it must be for hyper, because HYP.
Try checking a couple of those other exchanges, Brian, because that symbol says hyper. Yeah, there's HYP.
Oh, there's HYP.
Yeah, there's two different ones. So hyper is HYP, and then there's like another one that's I think hyper crypto or something. And
okay. So is HYP like the David Seaman hyper?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's head on over to Polo and take a look at this bad boy. That's an interesting looking chart, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody, Alex, any thoughts? Have you ever heard of this coin before?
I've heard of the other hyper. Now I gotta look up what this one's all about. So
Yeah, I'm not
give,
familiar
give
with
me
it
a
either.
second here. I can maybe find something for you.
Okay, well, he does that. Let's see what Coinigy has to say.
Yeah, why don't you say, nope, we don't really have any data on it.
Oh, it's called Hyper Stake.
385 million coins, so it isn't light. This thing must have a bit of history.
I don't know. I'm seeing some. It sounds like this coin. It's called Hyper Stake, and it's got a 750% annual interest. So it sounds like if you own some, you get a lot of return just staking it. But that means it's probably getting dumped on pretty hard.
So every time somebody gets paid out, they just keep slamming the bid, eh? Is that what you're saying, Alex?
You can just see, like it's
Yeah.
basically just
And that would that explain
like minor dumps galore.
yeah, and would that
Well,
explain
like the supply is.
Oh, did we lose Alex?
well, looks like it. So
I
that,
think Alex is having internet issues.
so the POS interest payment being so high, that would explain why there's so many coins out, eh?
I believe so, yeah. If they're...
All right.
Sounds like maybe they're just generating coins on an annual basis and...
Well, technically, what's really interesting here is somebody's gone and taken a fairly big position here, right? 39 million coins on this one day.
Wow.
That was done right here. So that's about 10% of the float, eh? Hopefully we'll get Alex back shortly. You notice here how this candle wick went right up. And what I've done here is, because crypto trades 365, I've actually changed this moving average from 200 periods, which is what I like to watch in the stock market, to 365. And what I notice is, look how this is happening quite a bit. This moving average is getting respected quite a bit.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if you zoom out, has that been tested prior?
Well, just doesn't.
Oh, yeah, we don't have too much because of...
You need a lot of data, but keep an eye on that over the evening. You'd be surprised what that'll look like. Hey, Alex is back. If I change it back to 200, let's see what it looks like. So resistance here. It's interesting how we broke above there and then back below, but the other one we didn't. And I think that's a great testament to how, as I am a student of the market for 25 years, I'm always constantly tinkering and trying new things. And like I said, well, crypto trades 365, doesn't trade 200 days a year, so let's see what that kind of moving average looks like. So I thought that was really interesting. I do like this bottom. It's not bad. The only problem is I wonder if the rally's already happened. If you did a reload zone, let's say off of this range, which would have been awfully tough, but had you been buying in off of this range, that's 60 ticks, and you could have got your double off here, right? So I think the pros already have their free position.
Right. I guess I wonder how much volume was on that. Well, yeah, no, that was the big volume wick.
Yeah. And so we might. The irony of it all is that this candle might have spent the entire day up here, but just in the last 5 minutes, somebody whacked it back down.
Right. Yeah. You never know.
You just don't.
Well, I
know.
guess you do know. I mean, we can look at minute data technically.
Well, what I do kind of like and what caught my interest is, do you notice how if we did a high to low here, look how the market is settled right in this range.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. If this thing had, let's say, less than 30 million coins out, I might even just go place a bid right now and go just pick up a little bit. With this massive amount of coins, that's a bit bothersome.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to buy the other hyper at this point.
Because you asked me the other day about it. So you're not biased, are you?
Not like I own any of that. Not anything.
I don't. For the person who's asking me, frankly speaking, I can understand why we actually, saw the market act the way it did based on this market structure. And considering where it's been, and in the stock market, I just like to use a 52-week range to give us the 50% level, let alone what it did previous. But if we just look at a 52-week range and, nice simple tool for the viewers to pay attention to in the market, thanks to good old W.D. Gann. It's called the 50% rule, and it simply says that markets often like to retrace 50% of their previous move. So believe it or not, regardless of your bias, I actually could realistically see a rally up into this sort of 277 area. And the fact that it does have some market structure working here leads me to believe that bids down here, I think they're actually worth a shot. That's not a bad idea. Considering, of course, the seasonality, I think this is a great example. Have you guys ever heard me say the term, a rising tide lifts all boats?
I believe so.
This thing might be a total piece of shit, excuse my French. It might be a total fraud, whatever. But I often find that in sort of rising trending markets, even the crap rises up. And then when the buying interest disappears, the crap is what goes off the board on the subsequent pullback. So as I said before, I actually could see that maybe some pros got some free coins off here. If this wick was only like up to here, I'd be like, holy crap, man, we should go jump on this. The fact that this wick has gone all the way up to here means, well, unfortunately, a good chunk of that rally is already behind us.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, 50% level is way up there, just on a 52-week range. So I think there is money to be made here.
Sure, it just depends how long you're willing to wait for it, right?
Well,
that
if we look at the
50% might not get hit for another year.
It looks like it's put in a pretty solid floor.
Yeah, I mean, you can see half of the time what I want to do, Will, is I just want to
This one looks really heavy too.
I want to ride on the coattails of some big cat. So can you appreciate, Will, some big fat cat just went and put 35 million, 39 million coins of buying to work here.
Mm-hmm.
That person wants to get paid. And considering that I can actually buy this coin less than what Mr. 39 million fat cat guy paid, right? Because that was this bar in here, and prices down here. It's not that bad of an idea. I mean, I think there's less relative risk in the short term of buying into something like this than buying into a name that's gone shooting straight up. For example, even one of the ones that I sold. I would say there's less risk in me taking my profits out of Abby, for example, and going and buying some of this and just letting it sit there and work versus me going and buying Abby up here.
Sure,
right?
yeah, that makes
Its
sense.
corresponding lows are down here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Same sort of logic. And the fact that this thing does have a W actually working fills me with a little bit of comfort. And then when I look at the internals, can you see the W in the OBV? Down, up, down, breakout. Money is now flowing into this name. I don't know why, but it is. Right?
Well, if this is a coin with a lot of staking power, like I'd imagine the guy who's probably running the coin or has a large supply of it would want to buy more so he could stake that 750%. Because if you own a lot of this coin and you get that much every year, then you do have an invested interest to buy a lot of it because you're going to get 7.5 times your value back in staking.
Yeah, that's
so
really
sounds
interesting
like a really
too.
heavy
Like
coin.
I wonder if when I obviously don't know anything about it, but when these coins are distributed, if there's a delay really before the market price goes down. If you can be the first recipient of the dividends, if you can unload those on the market right away or something like that.
But even if you can establish a base, right? that, maybe the coin just sits in this range. If you go and buy this coin and get 700% a year and can spoon feed the market coins based off of your base here, then that's not such a bad proposition, eh? It's just a question of you got to find a base, and I think that that's what this thing's been trying to do, is it's trying to find that base. And I'm getting the feeling that OBV-wise it found the base when this turned in here. Now the question would be, why would somebody go and buy so much of this and buy it up? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I'm not even...
Isn't it? I think there's money to be made here. I do think there's money to be made. The only downside that I have is that I really don't like how heavy this is. It's too heavy in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'll probably stay away too, Brian. That 750% really scares me. That sounds like a lot of weight for the market to absorb. It's just going to make these lower lows, regardless of bottoms that it's going to put in. Fundamentally, it's flawed, in my opinion.
Right, and we have to do some more research on it too, because we could be not 100% understanding it all.
Whoever's watching this, if you know what a fundamental catalyst or a fundamental driver that's going to turn this story around, obviously somebody went and put some money to work here. What is the story around this? So whoever asked us to analyze this, if you can get back to me and tell me what is going on here, what fat cat is putting money to work here and establishing a floor on this, then maybe we have the basis for an argument going forward. This reminds me of Doge. Doge, had far more coins out. The only problem was that, not problem, but so do you see this similar type behavior in here, and then finally it turned, and it was the OBV that sort of signaled the turn? And you guys see that?
Yeah, wow, that looks very similar.
It looks almost identical, eh? So it's not like these, and of course Doge has a gazillion coins out. This is ridiculous, right? So I've learned the hard lesson. Just because it's got a shitload of coins out, that doesn't mean they can't rally it. The question is somebody putting money down, and is somebody running this thing? And so my question with that other one would be, simply put, what's going on here? Who is this? Why? What's the story? Is there some sort of new development? Is a Microsoft player coming in here? What's going on? So tell me a little bit more. I like the trade location. I don't like how heavy it is. But if there's a fundamental story that can justify this existence in here, I want to know. Tell me.
Cool. So if anybody watching knows anything, definitely tweet at Brian, tweet at us. I'd be curious to know as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
next point.
Let's get back to the wheel, Marv.
And here we go. Who's up next?
No whammy, no whammy. Stop.
SDC.
I love that crowd applause. That's hilarious.
Way to go, SDC. You won. What did you win? I don't know.
Refresh my memory on this, Alex. Is this one that huge bar in the middle, is that something that we grafted some other data onto it?
Possibly. I know
they
recently
changed their code, their symbol, at some point.
They did have a problem, like they forked, I think. But I think that
could just be like a fluke or something. No, I'm just asking because if you guys remember, what was it, Limex or something? I don't know. Everything gets blurred together. But we had the issue, where whomever it is always buys a coin at like 0.001 BTC the second it's listed, so that threw the chart off.
That was
after we grafted the data.
Yeah, just to piss you guys off. There was one remember that LIMX? That was
yeah.
easy. Yeah. All right, so just looking at these two, I've noticed over my time, and especially in the past, Polo was very suspect with these monster wick and tails. So that, ironically enough, is what I used to see on Polo a lot. And I notice if we go over to Bitterix, it's not that way. So it's interesting. I remember seeing, in years gone by, a lot of polo charts would have those nuts of wicks and tails. What do we see here? I mean, I always like to start with price. Hopefully you can see that, and I do like the fact that they, basically had a bottom of a range here through late 2014 or early 2015. Typical seasonal rally, so normal, right? Just so normal. You can see this guy's rally died after the spring. A lot of alts, we often see them rally into June, July. So this guy had a little bit of an early seasonal peak. Very normal meltdown into really into year end this year. And then it almost looks to me like they tried to put in a bottom, tried to get people sort of thinking, okay, the floor is in, we're ready to go. It never could get that traction up through the top here. And, as soon as it sort of lost the fact, just lost its, upward momentum, upward push, just couldn't get going. If we look at the volume, we probably see that it just wasn't really that impressive. As soon as the bears sort of caught any wind, they just ran all the weak hands out and drove it down through these year-end lows. Probably broke a lot of people's hearts in there. Very typical sort of venture capital. In fact, I've seen a couple people now recently say that they actively are looking for this behavior in the altcoin market. And when they, after we get a big flush and the market's substantially off its highs, they're actually looking for that final sort of FU move to sort of give them the green light to start buying. I think we saw that recently. Somebody asked us to look at gems.
Yeah, wasn't it last show?
Was it last show or one of my site members? I can't remember. Same sort of thing. Can you kind of see how they did the same thing here? Into the end of the year, they were trying to bottom it, and then just a nice little FU move to see if they could wash out any weak hands here. And you can see they're really trying to bottom it in here. Same sort of thing. Unfortunately, if you are light on your toes and you're trading these cryptos, light on your toes and trading the cryptos. That sounds funny.
That's a tweet.
You could have been following this all along and looking for counter trend rallies again if we apply Mr. Gann. In previous episodes, we spent a lot of time talking about Mr. Fibonacci. Look at that. Mr. Gann gets another shout out today. So the audience is learning a little different perspective of the market. Then you see the 50% rule, and you see how literally the market tagged the 50% level and then right away from there.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I mean, just how spot on that is.
It's sick when you see this stuff, right? After, I've been doing this for so long, I draw these things in my sleep. We can make an argument, you see WE type action here, and like I said, after the flush out of these lows, there's a lot of people that would say, all right, give me that final flush out, and then give me MW, and then I'll rock and roll. And if you were really watching this tightly, everybody out in internet land watching this, you'll notice that we went down, then up, and this is the key, guys. Do you notice how we went down, up, down, and then breakout? So in essence, we have like a big W, and inside the right-hand side, there's a little W. Can you see that?
Yeah, a little bit, yep.
Extremely powerful trading tool, guys. You want to do things like margin trade and stuff, this is the kind of pattern you really want to hunt for. And basically the little W in here is going to frame your risk and reward. Or I beg your pardon, your risk, right? Your reward, of course, is up here. So, there might have been a little, post-FU move. Not really my trading style. I personally would prefer to see this thing just put in a nice quiet bottom. You guys, you've seen my saucer bottoms. A lot of the coins that I'm interested in, they kind of are looking like this, right? And then here we sort of have WE type action. This is still very, very violent, in my opinion, which means, sustainable trending higher. We're probably a ways away from that. The fact that we made a 50% retracement to me says that now we probably have to do 50% heading back down. Whoa, look how close that was. Not bad. So I wouldn't be surprised. And, this might turn into like an A, B, C, D. So if we zoom in on this, right, we're going to go boobity boop, and then maybe wherever the heck the counter trend rally is, boobity boop, maybe something like that. What do you think might this level be down in here, Will?
The reload zone.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. Have we done templates here yet?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. I think a few people have been asking whether we could do fib templates with you. That would be fun. All right, so yeah, if we did like a tag down into Mountain Man, and then of course, there is the line in the sand, 78.6. That would just be coming down and testing all of these key lows of this original bottom in here, right? So for me, I do like the little W. It's cute, but I think I'd like to see the market settle down and just come in and give me a nice wide W in here for me to get in nice and quietly. I do like the idea of little old lady. If you can take the little old lady approach, not risk too much money, the money that you do put in, you're just basically going to allocate that to the trade. I love the idea of buying against this little old lady line in the sand level there, right? And that would have been, what's that, 2,400 and change, 5,000. Look at that. You would have gotten sell half on a double. So little old lady could have bought here. She would have been like, Brian, I asked you to manage my account. Are we doing okay?
Oh, no.
Not bad, not good. Anyway, and I'd say, well, we didn't take more than 5% risk. We put our money into a name that we thought was half decent, so we're just going to let it work. And then I said, oh, by the way, do we have our order in working to sell the position? Should it double in price? And we're down here. And she says, you really think it's going to double? And I say, of course. And sure enough, a month or so later, boom, she's filled. Merry Christmas. Free position. So, not bad. Little old lady could have taken a shot down in here. Little double bottomy type action. Super traders, right? Taking this little W in here. I don't think you can trade this on margin, can you?
I have no idea.
I doubt it.
No, you cannot.
So the point here is it would just be a straight one-to-one transaction. And interestingly enough, anybody who did take that trade, they got themselves a free position now. Could I buy it right now? No way. Right? Can't touch it. Right? Can't touch this. If it pulls back down into the original bottom, yeah, maybe I could take a whack at it there. How many coins are out on this thing? Do I dare look? Oh, Jesus.
That's quite a few.
Well, so
but there's only a 6.5 million in available supply.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a pre-mine or what's going on there. I'm just reading the ANN right now, and it's a good place for a laugh if you ever go on Bitcoin Talk, especially in this season right now. People are kind of doing like price predictions and stuff. It's like one guy here is like, I don't get it. $10 is a $60 million market cap. Not that really big a deal considering the time frame he suggested with all the innovation that is happening. I think it might be an underestimation, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
$10 a coin. Okay.
Right. So, if I understand this, is this a POS? I love that. See, and in the world that I come from, if you call something a POS, that's not a compliment.
It does. It's an anonymous POS.
It's an anonymous.
I wonder if we have blockchain data on this one, Brian. Can you click on the blockchain icon at the top of the chart, that purple icon?
This here?
Yeah, we may have data. I'm curious. Yeah, we do actually. So you can take a look at, you can add any of those metrics to the chart. I don't know, probably market cap is going to be the most important one. But
Okay, let's see what we got here. Market cap there. Well, that's just going to say this number, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Okay.
you can look at it over time or really mining difficulty. Just figured I would expose that quickly because it's kind of interesting that you can do that.
Yeah. What does this tell me? I don't understand what it tells me.
That's basically the number of coins out times the current price at that time.
Okay.
Current price USD.
It's going to be, I believe, in USD. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Uh,
Looks like it's
okay.
I
going
don't
to
know if
make
it
a new high
necessarily
again.
tells us anything. I just figured I'd check to see if it.
So what it simply means is that because the market cap is the same as it was at the peaks here, there's more supply here than there was here. In
Sure, that
fact,
makes sense.
about twice as much, eh?
Or
And,
Bitcoin price has changed as well too. You got to factor that in if
yeah,
we're going
that's
by
right.
US dollar value.
Yeah, good point. And is this the kind of thing where they are sort of authorized to issue up to 1.3 billion coins, and so far they've issued 6.5 million? Is that kind of
Yeah,
how
I
it
mean,
works?
that might be, it might be scheduled technically to release that many coins over however many years. Obviously it
Yeah.
goes parabolic at some point. Well,
Yeah.
in the inverse parabolic, I guess.
All right, well, interesting. It's yet another name in the crypto universe. Don't really have the fundamental story behind it. I do like this market
Um,
structure, and I do like how we came down and probed into it. I could take shots down here, adding it to the portfolio, kind of little old lady. And like I said, I think we had a pretty good example. Those higher leveraged kind of traders. Notice W's here, nice momentum breakouts, right? You could trade this here. Right now, can't do anything.
and it looks like it's already kind of had its releases, which is maybe the reason why it's spiked up in price here. They have a new wallet out. They have an HTML wallet, a bunch of features for like anonymous sending and whatnot. This is one of those anonymous coins that launched in 2014 that had a couple cool features. Stealth addresses, where like you could give someone an address, and whenever people send to that address, it automatically puts it in a new address. So say your employer pays you every month, you give him a stealth address. He doesn't see what address it goes to, so he doesn't know like what your savings are, even though like that's where it's being deposited.
Right,
It's
right.
always like kind of dividing it up.
Yeah.
So
But
interesting enough, but
is this almost kind of like buy the rumor? It'd be interesting to see what was the release date.
well, it looks like it's already out. I see that people
Yeah.
are kind of commenting on the new HTML wallet, so that's why I'm kind of like, okay, well, the news has already happened.
Yeah, some kind of
If
renewed interest in it just because of a few new features and stuff.
And that
yeah,
probably, the release, that probably explains why this bottomed like this, right? These things don't happen by accident. That's kind of like that last story. What was that Mr. 39 million coins? There must be some story around that. And so as Alex just kind of is pointing out, and it's interesting in our class today, we covered this in liquidity events, right? I mean, this, in my opinion, it sounds like a buy the rumor, right? Things were just shit, and then all of a sudden said, "Oh wow, okay, the new wallet's coming out. Okay, let's get ready. Okay, it's gonna be a big ramp. Oh man, it's gonna be so awesome. Oh god, this is gonna be, it's gonna be, okay, it's down. That's it."
Oof, you need a cigarette, Brian?
Hey,
all right,
I'm
dude.
passionate about what I do.
You guys want to do the next coin now? Let's
Yeah, we should probably go back to the wheel after that one.
Hey, and around she goes. Are we having fun? I don't know.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you guys enjoying this, or am I being an idiot? We're
Ooh.
you're not allowed to answer that last question.
Oh, I said I'm having a good time.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
I think I got drowned out by the crowd applause.
All right. All right, BLK. BLK. Who the hell is BLK? And let's put that. So you guys want to bring us into light?
this is
BLK.
so Blackcoin is actually like one of the older cryptocurrencies. This is from like early 2014. It had an amazing run up. Like some people, you might actually want to go on BTCE or bitter,
wow.
BTER. That will probably have the most history.
We'll see. Yeah, I think it looks like we only added BTER in 2015.
What about BT35? That might have more history. Or
No,
30,
probably not.
BT30.
That's Chinese yuan.
Uh,
I
but
mean, the oldest, probably Cripsy, Bittrex, Poloniacs are going to have the most history in terms of when we added the exchanges. So,
Do we dare? Oh, look at Cripsy. Cripsy's got some data.
yeah.
Is Cripsy a bad word? Are we not allowed to say Cripsy?
We could look at it for historical, but I think in
right.
recent times it's kind of fallen off.
Yeah, we still have it listed, but we're really not
Yeah,
pushing anybody towards it.
this is your big spike, right, Alex? Right up here. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you're talking about?
You can get the idea of the highs, and like one of the guys I had on my show, he knew personally someone who had the trade of the century, I guess, on buying black coin at the bottom and then selling it at the top. So uh, it was a hell of a rise up in those times.
Yeah. Well, the irony of it all is it can happen any given coin, any given day.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Yep.
guys followed on the Twitter thread, but it looked like a couple of the original Blackcoin devs were kind of duking it out. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, wasn't it? That was on the tweets, wasn't it? I thought
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
really
we were
odd.
kind of included on the chain there.
Yeah, that was really
You know,
odd.
if that can say anything about sentiment or who's behind it, it almost gives off. I'm not saying this explicitly, but it almost kind of gives off the aura of, oh, we've given up on this coin.
Yeah, and
I
one of
wonder
the devs has actually launched a new coin recently, so he's off to bigger and better things, I guess.
uh, or you wonder if they pre-planned all of that to try and get us to think that way.
Right, exactly.
It's all a shakeout.
It's a house of cards maneuver.
All right, so well, what do we see here? The interesting thing is for kind of like little old ladies and stuff like that. Obviously, little old ladies specifically are not going to be buying into altcoins, but understanding that risk strategy, really, I wouldn't have a problem if you went and nibbled off of the lows here. Question is, are we near those lows? Looking at this really big image. Polo seems to be sort of the exchange everybody's liking these days, eh? So maybe we'll pop on over there, just take a look. You can see the bottom that came in here just last spring, right? And interesting, he took a little bit longer, maybe because it was just listed here. But, you can see his bottom actually came in through the winter. Not a bad rally. If I seem to recall that I was trading this through here, and I think I made a bit of money on this thing. BLK. Let's see what happens. Free position! Yay! We always love that. This was back in June of last year. Well, no chart. Boo! We rolled out the new webpage and we lost all our charts. Oh, anyway. So I could go back and look, but nonetheless, I think I could probably piece the chart here together for you. Where's June? Yeah, I mean, does that really make sense? That was June is up in this area here, right? So I think I was buying off of these levels, letting half go on a double. On balance, I really don't have a problem going and buying this position back off of these levels. I'm not. I mean, this is an interesting little W here, but then you can see that the volume kind of stalled and momentum kind of stalled, and really what I see now is actually, what I see this looks like to me? It honestly looks like to me somebody's trying to wash the market out. You notice how they put in this formation and then they brought it down and busted these lows, and look at all this action in here. It was like they were just, they were fishing, trying to just fish all of the buy orders out here. I don't know what's going on here. And then, anybody that was short, this 2 days, bang, bang, they wiped out anybody who had any sort of stops in this area. It's interesting how they couldn't take it through this high, though, eh? And then, of course, we better go look at all the others exchanges and see how they did. And the other one that I'm most interested in, Bitrex. Okay, so, here is our bottoming. These, God, I hate these tails and wicks, how long they are. You guys have heard me say, wicks and tails love to be eaten. You could have thrown a bid in against these tails, and you would have been filled here or here. Look at this. Now, there's a nice, beautiful little bottom. You see where the bodies themselves, you remember what okay, so trivia time. Who can remember what
Alex gets this one.
Who can remember what the name is when we get two candle bodies of about equal size, go straight down, close, leave a very little tail, then open right back up and close where it finished? What do we call that?
Bull Remy?
No. Railroad tracks. You ever heard me use the term railroad tracks?
I believe so. I remember the formation. I remember us talking about it.
Yeah. The bull Remy is an inside bar reversal, Alex, which means that the candle here has this entire candle has to be entirely inside this candle here. What I was shooting for was that idea of railroad tracks, where you have a candle body comes down, doesn't leave much of a tail. We open up and then straight back up, and so you get these two big reversal bodies here. So I like to see that. People watching the video, fantastic sign, right? You love to see that. Kind of a little bit of railroad tracks there. You don't really see railroad tracks all that often. So because this wick up here is not matched by this one, I wouldn't say it's text, but this one, I like that railroad tracks there. That's a nice looking one. And as you can see, basically, in fact, you can see how they brought the market down into the top of those railroad tracks right there, and that's where it reversed and headed back up again. Okay? So I kind of think that buys off of the bottom of the range here are working. The problem is, and of course, can you guys see the W in OBV here?
Yep.
Right. And you can see the bottom in the MACD. Look at that tight little double bottom in there, although that momentum got broken there. Nothing really. Willie isn't really giving us a lot of help. A little bit of a stupid condition over here. Can I buy it right now? Yeah, it's tough. How many are out on this thing? 75. Not light, not heavy. Sort of middle of the road. I suppose if we, off of this rally back down to here, you could make a justification for hunting long entries. Look at that right there, not bad, right? Again, that's that level again, right? Because that's our railroad tracks reversal. So it looks to me like there's your level. What level is that? I'm getting too old. I can't even read this damn stuff anymore. What the hell does that say? How do I increase the font of it?
Price-wise?
Yeah.
I don't know that you can, actually. Go to visibility once.
I think that's like... Oh,
yeah, no, that's not the right thing. Yeah, I don't know if you can actually adjust the font.
No, just...
We'll have to get
Brian,
secret citizen mode for you, Brian.
Oh, you know what I got? I got a magnifying glass here on my desk.
There you go.
Okay, what is it? Where the hell is that? Oh, here it is. Okay, what does it say? It says
6196.
6196. Yeah, there you go. So 6196. I think that's not a bad. And I just eyeballed this. So that might not be exact, right? I don't know if that's exactly. I don't know if that's exactly right. But I do like this level here. That 6196. I think it was the top of the railroad tracks. You can see how the lows came in here. That low there tagged it and reversed it. So somebody, it looks like they're actually defending this level here. Can I buy it here at, what the hell's number is that? 8191? No, can't. Sorry.
But
no,
perhaps if it comes back down into that zone.
Yeah, maybe. But this is we're kind of getting late in the season. I would have liked to have seen this thing pop a bit. I mean, yeah, the direction is pointing up. If it does come back down into this area, maybe puts in a nice little bullish reversal or something, I might take a shot. But I've already got some, right? You remember, like my trade from last year generated free coins. Technically, I'm sitting on a free position.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't see this kind of structure. I love, these kind of structures in here. I don't see that. I see a lot of chop. And, I kind of see, really, I guess one could argue, we actually sort of just stuck in a trading range here. So, if you can buy down here to get free coins up here, maybe that's not a bad idea. That's probably what this trade is here. But where it is right now, I couldn't touch it. I've got free coins, so I mean, like, I'm long. I'll be long this thing forever. And I think in fact, I can tell you exactly where my next selling level is. Let's see where it is. BLK, right? BLK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to sell some at, that's my balance. Where is my orders? Okay. 430000000. No, 43000. Where the hell is that?
That's way up there.
Yeah. Because remember, I got some off here
Yeah.
at 2 and change, right? So there would be first double. Next double is way up there. So, and really, all that is a test of the old highs. Right? In summary, buys against these lows, not a bad idea. It's basically that original double bottom. A little bit off of those lows now. Looks like you could have got yourself maybe free coins had you done that. Right now, I would just be in a big, just treading water.
Cool. Let's go to the wheel.
All right. Hey, DJ, spin that wheel! You guys remember that?
Now?
Oh, Geo coin.
Oh, an old favorite.
Interesting.
All right, what do we got here?
Let's catch up with our old pal.
People ask about Geo lately, haven't they?
Have you been following Geo lately, Alex?
Ooh,
I haven't been on their Slack recently. I know that the guy has done some development work to actually do some VR stuff. So,
that's cool.
maybe with your Gear VR that you got, you can go wandering around Milwaukee and try and pick up some free coins.
No, that'd be cool. Like augmented reality. Go pick up your Geo.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
And it's a pretty cool thing for the kids to do. So I always own a little bit of it because it's kind of a fun deal. I think I still got some in the web wallet. But yeah, he's working away on the little online game that they're doing, and if this whole VR thing takes off, then yeah, they're already in that boat.
Yeah, so since I got the Gear VR, I've been inspired to create basically VR coinage. So we'll see. Maybe at some point in the future, you'll be able
live
to
in the charts.
Yep, you'll be able to manipulate stuff with your hands in a virtual environment.
Oh, that'd be great, man.
It'd be pretty awesome.
Brian will be in heaven.
Yeah, we could create like trading rooms and stuff. That'd be trippy.
Yeah.
What I want to do.
I'm not making any promises yet because I haven't even started to dip into the SDK, but.
Yeah, what I want to do is create like a trading room where everybody could put on like a funny costume, right? So one guy's sitting there in like an alligator suit, the other guy's sitting as a cowboy and stuff.
Well, all you have to do is get a bunch of crypto traders in a room, and somebody will probably wear an alligator suit.
All right.
I'm just kidding, everybody.
So, full disclosure, I am long this thing. Let's see what I did here. I don't know whether I've actually sold any or not. I think this might even be my original purchase. Let's see what the book says. Taking a small shot against the lows. Yeah, so did a little bit of buying. June and July of last year. I remember we were all excited about this. We did like a crypto show, and everybody was like, "Yeah, this is a good name," and all that. And it started to get going, and then just stalled. Little disappointed, but yeah, okay. So this is basically my my cost level right in this area here. I've got an order to sell half at a double working. So we'll see how it goes. I suppose one could argue, margin traders. Look at this. We were just talking about railroad tracks. Can you guys see the nice solid close? See these railroad tracks in here, guys? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
No. So whatever the resolution was out of this range, that was the trade. So there's another railroad tracks right there. Can you guys see that over there?
Yep.
Right. You guys see this extremely powerful. Look, there's a bearish one. You see that up and then back down, and then eventually it lost it. So there's everybody's learning lesson for the night. I think I've given you a few tips tonight. We talked about seasonality. This candlestick patterns is so simple. Just try and remember the concept of railroad tracks. Okay, what do we got here now? Sloppy wicks and tails like to be eaten. You can see they came down, ate that. Put in this new low. Bit of a fractal here. This is a chart pattern. A candlestick pattern that's a little bit more advanced, but that led to this rally. Nice little consolidation in here, nice breakout. Now through all of this, you can start to see market structure come in here, where we go down, up, down, breakout. I've been sort of seeing news on the wires and stuff about virtual reality, that auger. Is that what you called it? Is that what you called it, Will? Oh, did we lose Will?
What's that?
No.
No, Augur is like a prediction market on Ethereum's blockchain, so I don't know.
What was that thing there's
Oh, the Gear VR. Yeah.
Gear VR. Yeah.
Gear VR, Augur, pretty close.
I've heard. I've actually, been reading on the internet and Twitters and stuff. People talking more and more about this virtual reality. So maybe there is something here to that. Any way you slice it, this son of a gun is trying to move higher here. I have, well, you don't know, but I have some site members when all they do is they use OBV when studying the altcoins. They're like, this is the indicator that seems to work best, so just go with it. Nice double bottom here. Can you guys see the W? Down. In fact, there's one here, down, up, down, right there.
Yep, and then
kind of tough to see here. Let's. Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, Brian, I actually had one of your former students asking me about my opinion on Veracoin, and he was pointing out the OBV, that it has basically just gone to the top, and like nobody has ever really sold it. He pointed out some really large like volume blocks, and I found it.
It's just because at some point the market will just wake up. They might not wake. It might take days, months, weeks. I've seen that happen too. In fact, I have one Chinese internet company stock that I own, where its OBV is just straight up. Money is just going into this thing, but you can literally see the traders manipulating the stock to keep it down. So it is a fantastic internal indicator just to sort of validate your idea that, hey, at least I'm thinking in the right direction here. The problem with indicators, of course, is that they're not priced themselves. So just because the indicator is bullish, that doesn't mean price has to be bullish. But at the same time, if I'm going to listen to something, I love, an indicator like OBV, I think works fantastic. If you can find, we've talked about divergences before, right?
Oh, yeah. Many times.
If you can find a situation with a OBV or volume divergence, holy crap, are those powerful. So can you guys see here, there was a problem in this name when this stock went to new highs here, but it did not make a new OBV high. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That was a major warning that, something's not right with this rally.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's another really handy little piece of information viewers can take away from tonight.
Now, Brian, if that divergence had been going in the other direction, would that be basically a buy signal?
It would be a bullish divergence.
Or a bullish signal.
Unfortunately, actually check this out. Can you see how through this area, OBV really didn't go to new lows? Kind of almost started making higher lows here, but price was making lower lows. Do you see that?
Yep,
and
yeah.
Remember how I pointed out the railroad tracks down in here?
Yep.
So what I often tell students is, and this should be good trivia. Let's see if Alex can remember this. How many reasons should we have if we're thinking about taking a trade?
Like 4 good ones and like maybe 2 okay ones.
Okay. Actually, that
No.
usually leads to paralysis from over-analysis.
Analysis
Yeah.
paralysis.
Really, I like us to have 3 reasons. And really, I like the reasons to be unrelated. So, am I ever going to just use a divergence signal in itself as a trade trigger? No. Because it's only one reason. Now, if this happened to be in a trade location, which it kind of looks like it might have been, but it looks a little bit low, but it might have been. We'd have to do the analysis. If this was a divergence and then I had a candle structure or something to frame the trade, then, hey, maybe we got something. Right? And I suppose you could argue if we looked at this divergence in close, we could see that indeed we actually have a fractal top here. Right? This bar, actually this is a mess, but this bar, and this bar, and so actually, Alex, do you remember your reference to bull rammy, bear rammy earlier?
Yep, sure do.
So this is a bearish inside bar reversal, so a break of this bar's low here is a sell signal. So if this was trade location and we had a volume divergence, right? And we have the inside bar fail. Now you're starting to talk about a potential trade setup. Does that make sense?
So what do you? We're cutting it pretty close here, but what do you think about this in the future?
Well, like I said, I've got my sell orders working up here, so that should tell you what I'm thinking. Right? What's ironic is I'm basically long from where the market is right now. This is basically
right. Oh, so you bought way back. Okay, I getcha.
Right. I bought last summer when we did it. I think it was actually even. It might have been. Yeah, I think it was like back here, right?
Probably like right around when we did the show on it, right?
I don't know. Was it? I think it was a decentral show, but it might have been this show. I can't remember.
It was the first block talk that we did together, Brian. It's coming up on a year now, but yeah, it was like the last point. I remember
everybody was all like, "Yeah, man, this is a totally awesome name. This thing's gonna rock." And I fucking did not. Oh, well, the way it goes.
Still some little chirp stuff.
So I'm perfectly happy just sitting tight. Now, where's this thing ultimately going to go? Well, you know me. I'm probably going to talk reload zone. So, gee whiz, here's going to be our first target zone, right? Brian's purchase price. Great. The next one's going to be off of this high, and there's my double, 61.8. Who's that? Will, who's 61.8?
Mountain Man.
All right. Brandon Rigo just goes, what? My ears are burning. What the hell just happened? 61.8, that's my sell level. Really, you know, in this silly crypto market and hearing your guys' positive talk and seeing the fact that we have big wicks up here, there's no reason in my mind why we can't go take these highs out. No reason at all. And now, look at our OBV. Our OBV sure is looking happy here, eh? And look at our little MACD. Our MACD's coming alive too. And look at that double bottom in MACD there. Ooh, that looks beautiful. And Willie's nice and happy, and Willie's got lots of room to run. Can you see how Willie is not stupid?
Yeah, but you're talking about at least 4 reasons now, Brian. You have to pick the 3 reasons.
Well, you asked me where I thought it was going to go.
I'm just messing around with you.
Trade? If I actually wanted to put on a trade, I've got to actually measure this, and I can start targeting the reload zone pullback here. Right?
Gotcha.
I can't chase this here. Sorry. And the funny thing is this is my cost because I bought it way back when. How ironic, eh? I could add to the position, and you know, after tonight's show, I might just go throw in a stink bid off of these lows to add to this position because I very rarely ever max out my position risk-wise. I just don't like doing that. I always like to give myself some wiggle room. And there's also a juicy gap. Can you guys see this gap right here? So at some point, the market is going to come back to this level. I don't know whether it's today or tomorrow. It might take 6 months for it to come back to this level, but my hunch is at some point we are going to come back here. Okay, I don't know. Did that help? Did I?
Yes, it did. Yep.
How are we doing on time?
I think we gotta basically cut it off here. We're going on an hour and a half.
We should probably just.
Alex looks like he's about to pass out.
Oh, okay. That's.
Yeah, I nodded off there for a sec, but I'm holding true. Well, maybe one quick chat here. I noticed the MACD for Bitcoin is actually turning green on the daily, which the last time it happened was when we hit 468, and then when we went up to 450. So I'm feeling pretty good about Bitcoin right now for a long. I think this is
throw a slash in there, Brian. BTC slash.
Which market are you looking at, Alex?
I believe it's Phoenix that I was looking at.
All right, let's see what you got here. Yeah, and we had a few people asking just my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. Yeah, it sure looks like momentum's trying to turn here, right?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to start spamming my Facebook, telling people to buy. This is gonna be the run.
This is the big run up before the halvening, huh? It's
well, not new all-time high, but I'm thinking we're gonna make some nice little high percentages, at least some decent returns. But,
right on.
As for making a new all-time high, I think we're gonna save that for the fall.
You mean all-time as in 1,250 US dollars?
Yeah, I'm thinking going.
You're shooting for the
like,
moon, huh, buddy?
I'm thinking we're gonna hit $2,000 before the end of the year, but that's just me.
Wow. I don't know. Words of wisdom there. I'm not gonna comment.
Yeah, so I'm not saying you should go all in, but no, I'm not gonna say that. No, what do you think, Brian? What do you think for the next couple of weeks here? It looks like we're set for another run up. We've been stable as hell on this triangle that we've drawn. Been kind of bouncing off the bottom of it now, and with the new Altcoin quarterlies, the old ones settling and the new ones being available, I think we're on a pretty good track here to actually make some decent upward movements before the halvening.
Okay. Unfortunately, and maybe it's just because I'm a gnarly old trader. I'm not as euphoric as a good chunk of the community would like me to be. A good chunk of my user group, and even some of my more veteran guys that have been working with me a couple of years, they're very bullish right now. But for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, when I look at this, I get worried. What I see, and all I'm going to do is just what is price action itself telling me. And unfortunately, have you guys ever heard me say, what should you be thinking if you ever see the market starting to smile at you?
Yes. I don't remember what the answer is, but I think it's about to screw you or something like that.
Well, they might be getting ready to take your money away from you. And then the subsequent bottom, it really hasn't put in a W yet. We've come down, and then we rallied back up, but then we put in another smiley face. So now I have two smiley faces staring at me. So, I'm left here saying, on the one hand, do I listen to all these new people that are, relatively new to trading, but I go with their enthusiasm because they all want price to go up, which means that they probably are all long right now? Or on the other hand, I got 25 years of trading experience that says to me, if the market ever smiles at you, get fucking ready. So I'm left with a really tough position right now. I do have a small short on, probably more as a hedge because I'm so long Bitcoins because these silly altcoins just keep going up and up and up, and I just keep getting handed more and more Bitcoins. I mean, we started the account at 2.25 Bitcoins. I've got like twice that much just in Bitcoin. I can't even find places to put this stuff.
I'll take it, Brian.
Yeah, let me manage that part of the portfolio. I'll take care of it.
So my wanting to be part of the crowd and wanting people to like me is saying, yeah, just give in and just be bullish like everybody. But my hunch and my gut is telling me that something's not right here. And the problem is that what is the reason to be long Bitcoins right now? Here we are in March. The halving event isn't until July. That's like 5 months away. So what is it about being long Bitcoin right now that's so important right now? And I can't answer that right now. I don't understand why people are so bullish right now, especially in the fact that all we've done is just rallied against a new market structure failure. So I took advantage. Now I wanted to be short off of this top. When the market smiles at you, get ready. But the problem is that on OKCoin, you can only risk so many dollars on a contract, and then they'll just automatically margin call it away from you, right? So I couldn't short this level. I couldn't short here, and I had to wait patiently for OKCoin to list the new futures contract, and on its rally, which is actually up into this area on OKCoin, I was able to get my short off so I can risk against these highs. So I have put the short on OKCoin 3-month futures. I'm short from like 438.20 or so. And what's the market right now? 416. So, you know, the futures I'm short $20 higher anyway. I'm in the money on the trade by about $10, like on a corresponding level. I'm short from like here. You know, everybody thought I walked on water here. Now they're all like, Brian, what an idiot. Why didn't he cover his short? You know, the typical fickle people, right? But people need to understand, I'm going to leave this short on until this level up here is broken. And until that level is broken, at the very most, at the absolute very most, I can say that Bitcoin is in a trading range. That's the absolute best that I can say right now.
Well, what I've been waiting for is us to break this triangle. It's like it's really hard for me to want to go long or go short until we break the higher trend line or the lower trend line, because that's all we've been doing is just kind of going back and forth between the two.
So then the question is, what's a valid trend line? You know, I mean, I see a lot of people will like pick the tops that they use to validate whatever trend it is that they want to see. Unfortunately, what I see in reality is there is your trend line. So technically, we've already broken out above it. So, and then the question is, what trend line do you use off the bottom? Do you use this low, right? And if that's the case, I mean, are we going to use this high, so we're still stuck in the triangle? Or are we going to use this high, which implies that the triangle actually broke there? So, you know, there's all that sort of subtlety. And then, of course, let's take a look at, so I don't know, BTCE. And, of course, its triangles look all differently, right? And then let's look at OKCoin, and its triangles look all differently. So really, that's half the problem I have with analyzing Bitcoin, is that from one exchange to another, they look different, and it drives me.
Right, and if you look at the list on the left, you have BTC USD typed in. Look how many exchanges have that specific pair.
I know.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people like Bitstamp, though, because it's kind of a lagging exchange, and it's a really good summation of a lot of a lot of the other exchanges. So I
Right.
know a lot of guys that do their TA off of Bitstamp.
I agree too, and they also don't have the leverage trading. So as a result, their business model isn't tainted by all this stop, run, talk, and stuff like that, right? They don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So, I mean, are we going to draw our triangle there? That's a really interesting study, eh? But is that valid? I mean, I spent a lot of time in my level 2 program just talking to students with how do you actually draw a correct trend line? Is that the correct trend line? You know, so, you know, we could get into debates about all that. I mean, I suppose if you're going to talk triangles here, we've actually broken out through the triangle, and we're running this trend line, and if we lose it, then that means that we have to pop down back down to this one. And, you know, full disclosure, just so you understand the reason why I shorted, and actually this has actually a better, you know, that you can see the M's here, right? And all I've really done on this particular trade is, like I said, identified that as the top of the range, that as the bottom of the range, and I'm trying to go short. And this again, the OK Coin future is a little bit higher here, but I'm trying to short near the higher end of the range, and my target is simply a test of this lower end trend line. I could very easily see us, you know, lose this level and zip down to here really easily. At the same time, though, we also have to bring into the conversation what's going on in the international equity markets. Is Bitcoin being bid up now because Bitcoin, or is it being bid up because people are starting to shit their pants in the equity markets again? So, you know, there's all that nuance around here. So it's a very, very interesting point we're at in Bitcoin. I will say to you, Alex, though, and I do like the idea, once we break this consolidation zone, and if we do break bull, if it's one thing I know about Bitcoin, is if we break bull, this thing's going to charge. And we can make the argument, I think, very easy peasy, just like, I don't think we did it in, I think I did it. Did I do this? No, I think this was with my class today. Oh, Brian.
It's all blurring together for you.
Exactly. But, you know, we could easily make the argument that, you know, there's Alex's. I could easily see 7, 8, you know, maybe 900 into this halving event rally. So, ironically enough, kind of, and, you know, I was thinking about this earlier, guys. Can you guys see how this looks very much like one of our altcoin stories where we'd say, yeah, here's the reload zone, just buy in here, sell half on a double. Right?
Yep.
I could very easily see that scenario play out here. Now, because we're so obsessed and we watch Bitcoin minute by minute by minute, we get all wrapped up in the itty-bitty, and so I'm, you know, trying to trade the nuances in here. You know? I think on balance, though, Alex, I think you're absolutely right. You guys can see the W, down, up, down. This was a whole year the market consolidated, right? Mm-hmm. And then we resolved higher. I think we head up in here into the halving. Exactly how this resolution looks, I don't know. But I will say that I see M's, and unfortunately as a technician, when I see M's, I got to take shorts against them. So that's my 2 cents on Bitcoin right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I think on that note, we should probably wrap it up. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I'm having a blast. Alex, did you enjoy this evening?
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed the wheel. I think.
Yeah, I like the wheel. I like that. Plus, it also, you know, the only thing is really it doesn't let you kind of prepare stuff.
But in a way, I kind of like that too.
Well, I mean, in terms of Alex and I also, you know, researching the coins and stuff also. Yeah. But I guess we can just kind of research everything on the wheel.
Thoughts, Alex?
We'll let the viewers decide. We'll see if they like previous episodes where we kind of pick stuff at choosing. I know, like the episode before, I kind of grabbed some coins that I knew a little bit more about, and I was pretty happy with. Like Counterparty did really well for me this past 2 weeks. So now this coming week, I'm looking at I bought some Veracoin and some Hyper. That's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, we'll let the viewers decide if they like the wheel. Like keep it fair and even on what we talk about, what deserves the spotlight, and yeah, leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to post.
I don't think Alex got any of the coins that he wanted us to look at done. Did you?
He
Yeah,
seems disappointed.
we were so close. We almost looked at my hyper, but no.
Missed it by one letter. Anyway.
No, it's a good time though, and
I'm
we'll
just
see.
glad you made it back in one piece. I was worried about you traveling across the country in the middle of winter. So.
You know what? It wasn't much of a winter. I had my AC on in South Dakota. It was pretty warm.
Wow. That no global warming. No, never heard of that.
Yeah, right.
The polar bears are going, what the fuck's going on here, man?
You use the same voice for the polar bears as the little old lady voice. All right, we're getting off track here. I'm gonna bring the reins in here and say thank you very much for watching, and
I gotta do a big wave. Good night, everybody.
There you go. Everybody say goodbye. Bye.
Enjoy your vacation, Will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, have a good vacation.
Yeah, I guess I won't be seeing you guys, but we'll chat.
Go punch a cow for me, Alex.
We'll
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks
Bye.
Yep, bye.